Switzerland has one of the most perfect railway systems in the world, with unmatched scenery and high quality trains, but the Swiss Railway's newest fleet edition has just set the bar even higher. These brand new Stadler KISS trains are the new face of SBB's regional and Interregio services, and I'll be taking you with me on a ride on one from Switzerland's third largest city Basel to its largest Zürich, to show you just what makes it so great. Now join me as the journey continues. Welcome to Basel SBB, the main station serving Switzerland's third largest city and a major hub on the Swiss railway network. Originally opened in 1854, the current station building before us actually dates back to the early 1900s following a rebuild and is plugged right in the heart of the city, with plenty of links by both local bus and tram networks. Some lines even running to Germany and France if you're feeling more adventurous. I've used Basel SBB a number of times now, and it never fails to impress me how well history and modernity are blended in this station. It looks absolutely fantastic, especially with the numerous murals on display. Even the car display here when I travelled was somewhat well integrated, which is great. Do also note the now defunct historic booking hall on the station's eastern side, but no need to worry, there's an operational one just adjacent to it. Basel SBB is named as such to distinguish it from the nearby Basel Badischer Bahnhof, which is owned and operated by Germany's Deutsche Bahn as part of EU customs. To the east of the station just here is where you'll find platforms 31 to 35 for regional services to and from France operated by SNCF, though the high-speed TGV Lyria service from Zurich to Paris uses the main platforms in common with Deutsche Bahn local and high-speed ICE trains to Germany, as well as SBB's domestic and international trains that run through other destinations in Switzerland, making Basel SBB Europe's busiest international border station with a total of 49.5 million passengers a year, though this only makes it the 5th busiest railway station in the whole of Switzerland. Our train today is the 0743 IR37 service to Zürich Hauptbahnhof, departing from platform 6. Unlike other major Swiss stations, a footbridge is required to transfer between platforms at Basel SBB, which is where you'll find most of the station's shops. The view from up here is also spectacular, wouldn't you agree? And here's our train, a 6-car RABe 512 IR Dosto unit built by Swiss manufacturer Stadler, capable of 160 km per hour and being restricted to use on the Swiss domestic network. These trains are part of Stadler's successful KISS family of double-decker electric multiple units, which you can see pretty much everywhere across mainland Europe and even further overseas. 60 of these trains have been ordered by the Swiss Federal Railways, or SBB, to supplement and expand its regional and interregio routes, the latter of course being an example of ours and will also be partially replacing its older regional stock, such as its predecessor the RABe 511 KISS. These trains are compatible with each other though and can work in multiple as and when required, seen here at Montreux on a service to Geneva Airport. I have to say the new SBB livery looks fantastic on these units, and I really love the little attentions to detail provided by Stadler. What do you think? As with existing variants of the Stadler KISS, level boarding is offered through retractable gap fillers, these aligning perfectly with the platforms at Swiss railway stations. We'll be travelling in first class today, which is split across 1.5 carriages. Between the upper and lower decks is 1x1 seating, which is rather rare for even intercity trains, let alone a regional train. The remainder is laid out mainly in a 2x1 configuration, with some metro style seating too by the stairs. The interior looks absolutely fantastic, very similar to the SBB Geruno I previously reviewed on the channel. I opted for this solo forward facing seat, which will do nicely for the 1-hour journey to Zurich. As this is an interregio route, we'll have some stops en route to Zurich, though these are on a more limited basis compared to regional services. We gradually make our way to Zurich's metropolitan area before arriving in the city itself after 1 hour and 9 minutes of travel, covering a distance of 90 kilometers or 56 miles. Like Swiss clockwork, we depart Basel SBB on time as we make our journey to Switzerland's largest city. One thing I should note at this stage is that while stations in Switzerland such as Basel SBB have free Wi-Fi throughout, this comes at the cost of there being no Wi-Fi on most SBB domestic trains themselves like ours, not to mention public networks are not entirely secure. Whilst on my recent travels in Switzerland, I was able to keep my internet access going and secure thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Ubigi. Ubigi is a provider of eSIM data plans available in over 200 destinations worldwide, and setting it up couldn't be easier. Simply download the Ubigi app, select a plan that works for you, and then set it up in mere minutes on your mobile device, ready to activate at your destination. When I travelled to Basel on my recent trip, I actually had to travel through both Germany and France on 3 trains just to get there due to engineering works. Ubigi's international eSIM plan allowed me to stay connected throughout my travels there, thanks to its strong coverage and reliability over public Wi-Fi, and as long as you have the app downloaded, you can recharge your data even if you don't have Wi-Fi or available credits, something Ubigi prides itself in over other carriers. So what are you waiting for? Download the Ubigi app now and use my code ONTHERAILS for a 10% discount and stay connected wherever you are. Around 10 minutes after leaving Basel, we arrive into our first stop of Liestal, located around 16 kilometers away. The cobbled street old town here is meant to be a good place to visit. Let me know if you've been here before. For now though, as we continue onwards, let's check out the first class interior on board the new KISS. Like the SBB Giruno, for a new seat it's pretty comfortable. Even if the padding isn't perfect, it's certainly top tier for a regional train with a winged headrest, adjustable cushion, and great ergonomics. At both sides of the seat are foldable armrests, and right underneath it is the lever to operate the seat's manual recline function. Just pull down on the lever and move your body forwards and backwards to adjust it how you like. At solo seats like mine, there are fold-down tray tables which can also be extended if needed, with there also being smaller tables like this for small items like drinks and mobile phones, with there being a small personal bin below, though SBB controversially plans to remove these soon on their regional and Interregio fleets. The bay seats include larger table sections which can be folded away for ease of movement, though legroom's still pretty poor if someone sits opposite you. At the small amount of solo and duo seats however, legroom is absolutely fantastic and more to the standard of a long distance intercity train rather than a regional one. There's a small storage net at the back of the seat in front, and also below the seat next to the recline lever is where you'll find a Swiss style 230V 2-pin power socket. Seat reservation card holders are just next to the windows, though I've never seen these in use on domestic intercity trains in Switzerland, let alone regional ones. Coat hooks are also present just below these, and finally there's a draw down window blind which only reduces the glare and doesn't block out the view completely, but why would you when you can immerse yourself in the beauty of Switzerland? For a regional train, this is an absolutely fantastic interior, one that would even make it well suited for intercity services. Great job Stadler and SBB. The sunny weather continues on full display as we continue along the Hohenstein Railway to leave the canton of Basel-Stadt and briefly dip into the canton of Solothurn after crossing the river Aare. Here we also pass the junction radiating out of Olten towards Basel, Zürich, Lucerne and Bern amongst other destinations in Switzerland. We of course will be on the line to Zürich and soon after enter the rather grey canton of Aargau and call it its largest city, Aarau. It has the nickname of the City of Beautiful Gables after its apparently stunningly painted roof gables. Maybe I'll need to come here someday and see them for myself. For now though, let's go on a walkthrough of the train. If you're curious what the lower deck looks like, well, here it is. Seating here is solely in a bay seating layout, and you'll also find better luggage space too if you have heavy luggage. We now find ourselves in second class, which like on other SBB trains is laid out in a 2x2 configuration with mainly bay seating and some airline and metro style seats too. Second class is distinguished by the navy blue coloured maquette as opposed to grey and red used in first, and the seating used is a narrower version of the keel seating used in first, which is again rather generous for a regional train. Bike storage is also available on the lower deck, however on Interregio services like ours, reservations aren't compulsory, so it's a first come first served basis for spaces. Not that this is an issue this morning. The lower deck is also where you can find the dedicated wheelchair space for those with reduced mobility, as well as the accompanying accessible toilet. Throughout the rest of the train are standard toilets, and they're surprisingly spacious inside. Being early in the morning too, this one was impeccably clean, so no complaints. I briefly touched upon the lower deck luggage storage earlier, but on the upper deck, don't expect much for overhead space. At best you can probably fit a jacket up there. There are plenty of larger racks as with the lower deck, and you can also utilise the space between the seats if you prefer to keep a closer eye on your belongings. We're now arriving into our final stop before Zurich, Lenzburg, and it's here where the sunny weather starts to make a reappearance for the most part as we continue through the scenic Swiss countryside. As to be expected as well from Stadler, the ride quality is incredibly smooth, though we aren't even going that fast currently, topping out at only 120 km per hour. Regardless, this is a nice speed to relax in as we take in the scenery on the approach to the Zurich metropolitan area. To summarise, SBB's brand new Kiss is absolutely incredible. If I had to be picky, I would say that it would be nice for there to be a vending machine for drinks and snacks, as these units do sometimes end up on longer distance runs, as well as there being more solo seats for lone travellers, but on the whole these units are well above the standard for the routes they'll be serving, especially against their predecessors. Stadler clearly understood the assignment, and I can't wait to travel on SBB's new Kiss again. I was using a first class Interrail pass for this trip, and as such I just hopped on board and took an available seat, as there's no compulsory reservations on most domestic day trains in Switzerland. Prices from Basel to Zurich on the IR37 cost 36 Swiss francs in second class and 62 Swiss francs in first class, which is a bit expensive, but remember that this is Switzerland, and most people will either be using an Interrail pass like I did, or a Swiss travel pass, which often works out cheaper, especially if you're planning more train journeys in Switzerland. And as to be expected, we arrived into Zurich Hauptbahnhof on time, to the minute, ready to start the day.
The next connection to Zurich Airport, IC5, depart 903.
Now you've heard from me, I want to hear from you. What did you think of SBB's brand new Stadler Kiss? Have you had a chance to ride it yet, or has this video inspired you to give it a go? Let me know in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, hype and share it if you did to aid the channel's growth, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more content such as this weekly. I'm now going to make a brief run for breakfast ahead of catching another train to my next destination. Thanks so much for coming with me on this trip, and I look forward to bringing you with me on my next one.